Let's go. Happy fight week, everyone. We got UFC 305 going down this Saturday in Perth, Australia. My name is Aries, and you already know with the big card breakdown, my co-host for this episode, the voice behind the camera, we got Drew in the building. Say what's up, bro.
What up, bro?
We are back with the big card, a great card, especially coming off that really tough Apex card last week. UFC Vegas 95. My recap for the picks was 8-2, which I'm really happy about because that kind of greasy card could get really difficult to get the picks right. So I'm happy that we got 8-2 down. So I can't be mad. But let's get into breaking down this UFC 305 card. You know how we do. We start from the early prelims and then work our way up to the main event. Timestamps will be down in the description box below if you guys are looking for any specific type of fight. But let's get into the first fight on this card. We have a UFC debut, Stewart Nicoll versus Jesus Aguilar. Stewart Nicoll is making his UFC debut, 8-0 coming to this fight. This man has been absolute cans before getting to the UFC. Absolutely, like if you combine all the records of his opponents, just terrible. I don't think they have any wins, to be honest with you. But I will have to say, but it's the way he's beating these guys. I know their MMA experience is not that deep, but it's the way he's going about finishing his competition. He is very aggressive on the gate. Oh, he's very aggressive out the gate, in your face, and really dictates the pace of the fight. He has really good calf kicks, good timing on takedowns, really makes his opponents pay for overextending on punches. But his best work, a lot of his finishes are coming from ground and pound TKOs. So he does really well getting fights to the ground and kind of working his way into better positions on the ground, which we always like to see. Kind of like how we were talking about the Umar and Sandhagen card. Umar's always looking for ways to improve the advanced position. So kind of like Stewart Nicoll here. Aguilar, on the other hand, good guillotine chokes. He has a lot of guillotine chokes on the resume. He is a ball of pressure. He looks to land big, throws big shots, loads up on the right hand. And I think the way Aguilar fights, very wide stance, heavy on the lead leg. Nicoll has good calf kicks, like I said. So I think that leg kick and his lead leg is going to be there to be kicked all day. And with how big Aguilar really throws, I think it's only a matter of time before Stewart really just times the takedown and gets the takedown. And Aguilar's not really bad on the ground either. He can hold his own, but I don't know. Watching some interviews on Stewart Nicoll and just seeing where he's at mentally, young. I'm digging the prospect. I like where he's at. I like the skill set that stands across Jesus Aguilar in this fight. So I'm taking the UFC debut fighter here. I'm taking Stewart Nicoll to win by unanimous decision. Jesus Aguilar, he's kind of tough to finish. He's very scrambly, so I think this can be a very competitive fight on the ground. But I think Nicoll just has the very heavy on top, but I think he can just win the minutes and probably rack up the control time in this fight too. So I think he gets his first win in the UFC by unanimous decision here.
And to your point, I was just over here looking up his opponent's records.
Brother,
he's 8-0. Only 2 of his opponents have winning records.
A win
in their career. And there's one guy that his only MMA fight was losing to Nicoll, and then he said, "I'm off this."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly what I said.
He stopped, and then the next guy he fights is 11-11. There's a 1-5 on there. There's a 0-3. There's a 1-4. Like, there's a lot of trash. And one of the guys is 5-1, and one of the other guys is 8-5. Like, come on, man.
These regional scenes in different countries, it's really rough out here, man. It's really rough.
It's the ACB and the XFC are and beat down promotions. They're struggling.
But yeah, I got the UFC debut person, Stewart Nicoll, getting a unanimous decision win here. Next fight we have Kenan versus Ricky Glenn. Always thought Ricky Glenn has been in the UFC for longer, but I guess he hasn't. But you know, now it matters to me. But if this fight is going to be at 155 or 170, I don't know if Kenan is moving or staying at 170 or moving down to 155 in this fight. Because if he's moving down, it kind of worries me if he's going down to 155. I don't know how he's going to look on the scale. It's going to be very interesting if this fight's at 155. But you know, Kenan, a big, strong 170er. He packs power in his punches. He almost knocked out Ian Gary in the first round of their fight, which was a really slick counter punch. He does a good job staying on the outside and just kind of flows with the striking game. He can lead the dance in the striking game, or he can counter. He can do both, which is really, really good. So the striking skill set is very impressive, especially when he also has kicks in the arsenal, kicks on all three levels. Song can do it all on the feet. Ricky Glenn, it's been really rough out here for Ricky Glenn. Hasn't looked good in his last two fights. He got knocked out in both fights. But you know, everything leading up to those finishes, Glenn just looked stiff. He looked like a slow starter. It looked like he was trying to find the distance, but his opponents just had too much firepower in the hands, and Glenn just had terrible time keeping up with his opponents and just, you know, trying to get some output out there. But yeah, I just think Song is too much for Glenn in this fight. Song is the more methodical, patient with the attack, but he just has that power that I think can just ring Ricky Glenn's bell at any time. You know, I can see this fight going. I can see this fight going 15 minutes because Song is not too. I think he's going to be a methodical worker, so he's not going to rush in and you know look for blood, and so I can see this fight going 15 minutes. But the way Ricky Glenn has looked in his last two fights and getting knocked out in both fights, it doesn't sit well with me. And him kind of being a slow starter in both of those finishes. I'm going to go Song Kenan by KO.
And just, it looks like, so on the official UFC event site, it says it's at welterweight.
Okay.
But SureDog also posted an article, an interview with Ricky Glenn yesterday that said the bout was being contested at lightweight.
That's so weird.
So I've seen this a couple times in the last few cards actually too. So it's I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out later on in the week, like a concrete. But I'd probably just go off the UFC's official site, and the event site says it's at welterweight.
You know, I would think Song Kenan's a little bit smarter than you know, cutting weight to 155. That's a big jump. That's like, a huge jump.
Yeah.
I feel like Glenn kind of fills out more and he looks like more a 175, 170, or to be honest with you. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see, guys. Next fight, we have Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes. Yes, the brother of Dom Reyes.
A lot of brothers on this card.
A lot of brothers, yeah.
A lot of brothers on this card, man.
It's a sibling card, this card.
It really is, man.
But yeah, let's start with Tom Nolan. So Tom Nolan, a 24-year-old prospect coming out of Australia. The kid is nice. He has a very unique frame for this lightweight division. Standing at 6'3", a good, clean striker, tall and rangy. He is good with his long weapons, which are his legs and his kicks. I don't know if I trust the defensive striking or the defensive, cover up and striking on the feet of Nolan yet. He has been finished in the UFC by Moda, which doesn't sit well with anyone who has watched the UFC for a few years. Moda just, anyways. But Moda's listed at 5'9", so with being the taller fighters, we talked about this with Sam Patterson. I feel like a few cards. They just have a problem leaving their chins up high. Their posture is really tall. So, but Nolan leaves his chin exposed. But you see this with a lot of tall fighters, yes, like we saw. But even when he's in the green zone of exchanges and throwing, he kind of leaves his chin exposed. So it can get scary against Alex Reyes. I know people are just shitting on Alex Reyes this week.
Big dog.
I get it. Yeah, and Tom Nolan being a minus 1,000, that's really crazy. That's really insane, especially with him being knocked out by a shorter person, and I don't think Mo does it even in the UFC anymore. I don't know, but this doesn't. I don't know sits well, but I think he has the perfect opponent this week to kind of shine bright, of course, because Alex Reyes, a very inactive fighter, he got knocked out by Mike Perry back in 2017, and he didn't come back until 2023. So
Platinum Mike set him on the shelf.
I don't know. I don't know what happened in those 6 years and what caused the layoff, but Alex Reyes was shelved for 6 years. I can't believe Dana kept him here on the UFC. To be honest with you, and he did come back in his last fight against Charlie Campbell, and he had a hard time getting things flowing again. I mean, 6-year layoff. I mean, we thought John Jones was going to look rough coming off his layoff, but he, made it look easy. But 6 years, oh my gosh! And your brother's getting knocked out in those 6 years. I mean, it doesn't look good in the household. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, household.
The Reyes household is going through it. But Reyes' best chance to win this fight is hoping to somehow get this fight to the ground and ground and pound or look for a submission. But with how bad this man looked in his last fight, I just think Alex Reyes has trouble with the range, finding the range of Nolan. It is possible he ends up in just panic attacks, shooting from far to get Nolan to the ground. But we also saw that Nolan did finish his last fight, throwing the knees up the middle. Because with him being tall, I mean, I guess you can see people shooting for the takedowns, and the legs are there. But he ended his last fight with the knee to the body. So I think Nolan will be aware, and he's young. He's absorbing the game. He's growing. So I think Nolan gets another TKO finish here. Alex Reyes, I just don't know, man. I mean, 60 years off, you come back, get knocked out. And then you fight a very high prospect in the 155 division. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm going to take Tom Nolan here to get another TKO win.
It seems like a classic get him in front of the home fans, showcase fight against, like somebody who took 6 years off after Platinum Mike put hands on him.
Yeah.
Young kid, again, like he's 24 years old. Unique frame, potential, like down there. That's what's crazy too to me is realizing too these kind of cards is like Australia, New Zealand, like that whole ocean area. Man, fighters down there, dude.
And there's
they got talent down there.
And
man.
I think with this card, the UFC did a good job of putting some of the best young talent on this card. Sometimes they kind of just get reckless and just throw a whole bunch of bullcrap fighters on the card from the area. But
dude from down the street at the local gym, just fill a spot for us.
But
man.
They really stacked this card with some nice youth. But yeah, man. Next fight, we have Casey O'Neill versus Luana Santos. And I forgot to share my screen right here real quick, guys. My bad.
I actually had a question about that too before. So this seems like is it me or is this seems like a really short fight card, even though it's not.
It's
still 11 fights, but it feels maybe it's because seems like there's usually more early prelims.
Yeah, I feel like the pay-per-views have been getting like 13 fight cards or 13 fights.
Yeah. Like have we been getting spoiled or what? Like I don't know. I feel like this one was kind of short, but could be me tripping.
Mm. But yeah, Casey O'Neill is back in the octagon. She's coming off a 2-fight losing streak. Let me see. Yeah, coming off a 2-fight losing streak, got submitted in her last fight against Ariana Lipski. People can say what they want to say about Lipski, but Lipski is someone who is evolving. She changed gyms. Lipski looks freaking great right now, and I think she's dangerous at 125 right now. So people are kind of shitting on the Ariana Lipski loss, but Ariana Lipski is actually pretty good, I think. You guys are just hating. O'Neill lost to Jennifer Maia, which people will slam Maia because she's a bit of a journey lady at 125, but she's a tough OG in the rankings. I actually picked Maia in that fight to win, and it hurt me because I'm a huge O'Neill fan. But just the volume of Maia, just Casey couldn't keep up with the nasty strikes in Muay Thai. But O'Neill still has some good fight. She's still a good fighter, in my opinion. I think she has been humbled in these back-to-back losses. All of the fans were kind of hyping her up. She was, looked at as the next prospect in this 125 division. Everyone was saying that she was going to dethrone Shevchenko. Yikes. I was actually on that train as well, guys. I'm not gonna lie, but I think she's been humbled a bit. She's ate that humble pie, and I still think for the comeback we see a better O'Neill. I think there's still some things to be for her to learn. I just found out that she moved camps for this fight. She's in Arizona at Fight Team or Fight Ready or something like that. Fight Ready MMA in Arizona. She moved camps, so I like that for her. I think she needed to see something else, get some new eyes, get some new people to work with, and I really think she's gearing up to, fight a very judo heavy fighter in this upcoming fight, because she was supposed to fight Bleda, which I think that was set up for O'Neill to, shine bright. But, Santos steps in on short notice in this fight. She just fought like a month ago, maybe. And I picked Santos to lose her last fight, but I was just kind of throwing some hope in the air with my girl, Agapova. Goodness gracious.
That was bare. Tomorrow will be a month ago.
Yeah. So Santos with a quick turnaround for this fight. Like I said, she fought a month ago. Santos has great judo. She is a judo black belt. She does her best work on the ground, looking for submissions. Her striking is okay. It's coming along very nice. She kind of does have some nastiness to her jabs and punches. But I'm still curious about her cardio. And about 2 fights ago, she fought Stephanie Egger. I know that was up a weight class, but she was rugged. She looked slow after that first round, rounds 2 and 3. She was just barely just hanging on to Stephanie Egger against the cage, just trying to survive. But especially in her UFC debut against Juliana Miller, the tough winner. I know Santos won by TKO, but if Miller made it out of that round, Santos was in big trouble. She was throwing heavy. They were both throwing strikes, just exchanging in the pocket. But I don't think Santos is used to that volume yet. And with how Casey O'Neill fights, she will bring that fight out of you. She is a dog, in my opinion. Yes, she doesn't have the power, but she will, she's want to kill you with 1,000 cuts, basically what I'm saying, what Casey O'Neill likes to do. So I like the gym change for this fight for Casey O'Neill. I like the volume of strikes. I'm not too high on Santos yet. I know people are very high on her coming into this fight on the winning streak and the way she's looked. But Agapova is terrible, guys. She's not good. She was a part-time tattoo artist and trying to make money and still fight. She was barely in the sport. Now she's not even in the UFC. Stephanie Egger is not that good. Juliana Miller, even though she won tough, not that good. So the resume is ugly, and I get it. Casey O'Neill, we could say the same about her resume as well, but I've seen a lot more positives from O'Neill, especially coming off 2 losses, yes. But I am going to take the underdog here. I'm taking the plus 140, what I see right now.
I got plus 150 as of 5 hours ago for King Casey.
I'm gonna take King Casey here. Especially with since cards are kind of since they got the new gloves, the UFC did, the overs have been looking great. So I'm starting to put together overs parlays. I think it's easy money. Fighters are having trouble finishing fights, so I think there's some easy money there to be made in the UFC right now.
Take it before they figure it out. Yeah, I like that.
So I think this is going to go over. I think so. With the dog fight, and just I think O'Neill is going to show out here in front of her people. I think Santos, I know she's riding high. I know she's in good spirits, but cutting weight again, I don't like it. And her going to Perth for this fight, and she has had a month.
Maybe. Yeah, that's crazy.
So this is a real big prove it spot for me for Luana Santos. For me, I need to see it. But I'm just going to take King Casey O'Neill to get the win here, man, and upset. Plus 150, go or put it on the over parlay of whatever, there's going to be
like a 1.5 round.
There's going to be a lot of overs. Look at the overs, see what it is. But I think if you guys want to rack up parlays, I know people want to put the fighters, but start building your overs parlays.
The props are the way to go.
Because
over unders.
Since these new gloves came out, fighters are not finishing fights. I think it's easier money, to be honest with you.
I do like that because it does it takes Lord knows. Well, I don't have the best luck with that either, as we found out thanks to Neil Magny. So
Neil Magny. My goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, next fight we have Jack Jenkins, my guy, versus Herbert Burns, another brother. Herbert Burns, man.
Yeah, man.
The brother of Gilbert Burns. I don't know how Herbert Burns is still in the UFC. I honestly don't. I don't think this guy likes to fight. I don't think he enjoys fighting. I think he is better off in grappling tournaments.
He should be in the Abu Dhabi.
I don't think so. I just don't think Herbert enjoys this life.
He'll like get punched in the face.
It's almost like, hey, I'm gonna go follow my brother. This looks like a fun dream, but I don't know if this is cut out for Herbert Burns, guys. Just the body language in his fights, it looks terrible, man. This looks like he wants no problems. I haven't seen much of him. I haven't seen much good from Burns since he's been in the UFC. His path to victory in this fight and all of his fights are probably going to be by submission. But against Jackie Boy, Jack Jenkins, another great prospect coming out of Australia. I'm a huge fan of Jack. I like what I've seen from Jack. But yeah, Jack Jenkins, great heavy leg kicks. He is coming off an injury that he suffered in his last fight against Chepe Mariscal in his last fight. But if y'all don't know Chepe is a dog, and he showed that in his performance last Saturday against.
He was the star of the show last Saturday.
That guy is a dog.
He stayed it was still a rough card, but he was one of the bright spots of that card.
But Jack Jenkins in that fight against Chepe, he was beating Chepe until that injury. Jack Jenkins looked good. He was staying up to pace with Chepe, which is hard to do, especially on the feet. So again, with how I view Chepe, and for Jack Jenkins to have that type of performance before the injury, that just spoke volumes to me. I hope Jenkins wins on Saturday and the UFC rebook Jack Jenkins versus Chepe Mariscal after this fight. I think that'd be a really great fight. But yeah, I just think Jack Jenkins is going to outclass Burns everywhere on this fight wherever this fight goes. I'm assuming the injury is good to go if Jack Jenkins is fighting. I think Jack is going to put on a great performance, and he's just in front of his people. But yeah, Jack is back. Give me Jack Jenkins by TKO. What a guy. Okay, next up we have Josh Culibao versus Ricardo Ramos.
This is a tough one.
This fight has had me going back and forth a lot. Because both guys kind of give me headaches. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Ramos, let's start with Ricardo Ramos. A very skilled striker, loves the spinning attacks. Has finished fights with spinning attacks, the spinning elbow, stuff like that. Great kicks. He loves the lower leg kicks, but I think he is there to be countered a lot on the feet. That's kind of something that I've seen in his fights. The kicks are great, but when he wants to throw the hands, he's just kind of there to be countered a lot. Josh Culibao, a very unorthodox fighter, a very tricky timing he has with the ins and outs. Culibao does a good job checking a lot of leg kicks. He showed that in his fight against a heavy kicker in Bagdasarian, which Culibao locked up a submission and won that fight. Both fighters are coming off 2-fight losing streak, but Ramos is losing by making mental errors on the ground and getting subbed. Culibao is losing by points and losing on the cards. Culibao gets caught in fighting his opponents, or Culibao gets caught at fighting at his opponent's pace. Culibao is not a person who dictates the pace in the fight. I think he fights to the standard of his opponent, which is it's very, very frustrating watching a Josh Culibao fight because I feel like he has the tools. He just doesn't go out there and I feel like he just doesn't.
He doesn't impose his will on the fight.
Yeah.
Instead, he lets the fight come to him.
And with Ramos being good striker, like I said, he has been with Team Alpha Male, so the wrestling is there. I don't know if it's top tier wrestling, but to have that in his back pocket, because he may need that wrestling in this fight, I think, to kind of give Josh Culibao some different looks. Like I said, I've been having a hard time with this fight. I lean Culibao though. I think he's just a better consistent fighter. And just what I've seen, especially with him in the Lerone Murphy fight, which Lerone Murphy is a really good fighter, undefeated. He did lose that fight, but I saw good in that. And even in the losses, Josh Culibao has shown a lot more positives than negatives. And Ricardo Ramos, yes, he has finishing abilities, but the mental errors are just they're big, man. So I don't know if he has it all there up in the head to compete with the Josh Culibao, who just is a flowy, very consistent fighter. So I'm going to lean the favorite. I'm going to go Josh Culibao here to win by decision.
Yeah, you look at that Lerone Murphy, like common opponent.
Like, yeah.
He knocked Ramos out in the first.
Yeah, man.
And he decision Culibao.
I like what I see from Ricardo Ramos too, but he just, I don't know, just maybe bad luck. But like I said, he's there to be countered. Josh Culibao has some really quick straights down the middle too, which I think can, get him some points on the card. I think he can have some moments in this fight. But yeah, man, all the spinning stuff, yeah, it looks good, but it's not doing anything to me really. Even though he has finished some fighters, I think the fighters that are lower than Josh Culibao with that stuff. So I'm gonna take Josh Culibao. I feel more confident in that pick. That may come back to bite me, but we'll see. The featured prelim of this fight,
the Battle of the Brothers.
This fight is this is some lower tier heavyweight fight.
What is this, man? The feature bout is Just the battle of the brothers? Like, what?
We have Junior Tafa versus Valtar Walker.
Oh, my gosh, man.
Valtar and Johnny don't even look alike. I had no
bro,
idea.
They don't look alike. That was shocking to me. Like, I saw them, I said, whoa, what? No. That's the milkman son, bro. One of them was Mama stepped out with somebody, bro. I don't know who, but man.
Okay. Just a nasty heavyweight fight we have here, guys. Tafa, Junior Tafa's only loses his fights if he's getting taken down.
Yeah,
and it's like he just accepts being there, or just doesn't have or he just doesn't have the ability to get back to his feet. I know Valtar Walker is not that great of a fighter, but he just looks like a heavy dude. He looks like a real solid guy, and you don't want him on top of you. Gosh, I haven't seen anything good from Walker. The fights, he like Walker. He did take Lucas Dresky down, but Bresky got back up. So Walker does have troubles keeping his opponents there on the ground. I would hope that Junior Tafa is training on get-ups. Please, bro, please. Your striking is already there. You already are a good, solid kickboxer. Why I may lean towards Junior Tafa here, just because he does have those credentials in kickboxing. The man is kind of nasty on the feet. He's a bit more mobile than his brother. So the question is, can Tafa stay on the feet? If he does go to the ground, can he scramble? Can he use some little bursts to get back to his feet and just, win those moments on the feet in this fight? Gosh. Oof. I'm going to go Junior Tafa by just ugly decision win here. I haven't seen any kind of weakness in Valtar Walker getting knocked out or anything like that. But I just think Junior Tafa does enough on the feet. Even if this fight goes to the ground, Valtar Walker hasn't shown those abilities to do some ground and pound or just win moments on the ground as well. So, jeez, man. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's hard with Tafa too. The last time we saw him was like a day's notice or something. Or like
he stepped in
for his brother.
Yeah, just a tag team. Just
yep.
Brother, you can't make weight. Oh yeah, hey, right here, man. How was that ever happened? That was so crazy.
Yeah, and then I don't know, man. That's what I mean. Like, this is the feature.
This is insane.
This is the feature.
How was this fight so high on the card? No way.
Like, it's not like there aren't other Australians or New Zealanders
so nasty
on the prelims that you could have put. Like, I'd rather see Culibao. I'd rather see O'Neal and Santos as the feature.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Like, yeah,
just nasty work by the people, making the bout orders for this card.
That's my gas station run right there. I ain't sticking around. I'm gonna stick around to watch Tafa walk out because I feel like it might be cool.
Guys,
like he might do some Samoan shit. But other than that,
guys,
bro, I'm out. That's when I go get my drinks. I go get my whatever. Have my union break. I'm out of here, man.
Take a hot 30, okay?
Please. You know what? Hopefully Tafa catch him with a hook or something. Just end it quick.
Hopefully.
And then we'll just watch highlight reels of Izzy talking shit until the pay-per-view starts.
It's a rough one.
That's a rough, man. That's a rough feature about. Ain't nothing feature about it.
Let's get out of this. Let's go
that pay-per-view.
Let's go straight to the start of the pay-per-view. To start off the card, to start off the pay-per-view card, we have Jingliang, the Leech. He's back, guys. Going against Carlos Prates. Man, so the last fight the Leech was in was against D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. That was that card where the whole card got switched up in a day or a few hours. I actually like Jingliang versus Tony Ferguson in that fight, to be honest with you. I think that was his step up to kind of get his name kind of higher in the rankings. but the UFC kind of just messed up everything. They switched up the fighters, and he got robbed that night on the scorecards by Rodriguez.
Oh, that was tough, man.
I don't know. Yeah. That was insane. But the Leech, great power in the hands, just a solid striker. And he's one of these Chinese and these Asians who, has some head movement. I feel like, I don't know if you heard the last episode, Mace, but I made a comment about Asians not having head movement and they leave their head on the center line too much. If a boxer just went over there and just helped them with their head movement, these Asians would just be knocking these people out, right?
Put a clothespin up with it, put a clothesline out, and just up and under every time.
Give me something, man. But Li Jingliang, he's nice, guys. He's been a kind of an OG, kind of top 15 ranked in this division. So Carlos Prates making that step up in competition. This is a really big look for Carlos Prates. Is it too soon though? I don't know. But what I do like for Carlos Prates, he's very explosive. He has very springy, shoots in with the straight shots, with his punches. Really, really exciting fighter. He does smoke a lot, which kind of I'm talking cigarettes, guys. Yeah, straight cigs, no
heaters, baby,
brother. What
cancer stick?
What is this? Early 2000s? What are we doing? 90s? I don't know if I like that, but it is what it is. But the skill set is there, and he's at a great gym. Fight Nerds they have a great team over there, and they're kind of just on this nonstop kind of great year so far in 2024. Gene Silva's over there. Man's working. I think the Leech could be the sleeper underdog for this card. I'm not even going to hold you. A plus 240. I think there is value on the Leech.
Wow.
I think he could surprise a lot of people here, especially with this opponent and, skill set wise, stylistically. I think this is I think the Leech could surprise a lot of people, but I'm going to go with not the prospect, but, the up and comer, the fresh face to the rankings. I'm going to go call Carlos Prates to get a decision win here. I think we kind of see him kind of in a grueling 15-minute fight here, and we kind of see more of the skill set of a Carlos Prates, and we see what he has, man. And I believe in his gym to have a good strategy heading into this fight to deal with a very veteran like the Leech. So I'm going to take Carlos Prates to get a decision win.
So the Fighting Nerds team.
Fighting Nerds, yeah.
The Fighting Nerds team in the past 3 years in the UFC are 12-0.
That's what I'm saying, man.
12-0 amongst, looks like it says 4 fighters. 4 UFC fighters. And just in their gym period of all their fighters, again, only 4 UFC fighters, they still have a 40-fight MMA win streak in their gym.
Oh my gosh.
They're doing something right over there, man.
Something's happening.
Woo.
I mean, the way I seen Gene Silva kind of walk through Drew Dober. Oh my goodness, man.
Throw them glasses on, man. Throw them glasses on, bro.
And the win streak continues for Carlos Prates.
There it is.
This weekend. The Leech it's been real, man. Next fight we have Tuivasa, I should say, versus Jarzinho Rozenstruik. Again, a very, very high value in the underdog here with Tuivasa, guys. At plus 180, and Ty finally has someone who is kind of similar in stature. He's kind of being outclassed by the reach and the height of some of these tall heavyweights. So I think both of these guys kind of luck out with their opponents kind of being similar in reach and in height and stuff like that. So I think this is a great matchup. Rozenstruik he's coming off a great sort of upset against Shamil Gaziev. Very methodical kickboxer, Rozenstruik is. And I think with him being methodical and him still having power, I think he has very underrated power in the hands. I think Tai Tuivasa needs to match the intelligence in this fight. And I don't know how that's going to go because this man is kind of in a F it, balls to the wall, just go for it type fighter. So I think Tai needs to show some maturity in this fight if he wants to win this fight. If he wants to get back into the winning circle, I think he needs to be mature. Just grow up, my guy. Please show some maturity in the striking. Don't get wild. There are times to get wild, and there's some times to just calm down and let things flow. Just let things flow, let things come. There will be a time to, explode on Jarzinho, but how much do I trust that though? How do we trust the Tai Tuivasa to settle down and let the fight come to him?
And also like he's been kicking it with Poeton and stuff and making videos and shooting the shit. He's been very comfortable lately.
Very.
For a guy that's lost 4 in a row. And very comfortable.
And this man was training out in Abu Dhabi, he said.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't know what that means, but we'll see, I guess.
I'm still a Tai fan. I'm an even bigger Rozenstruik hater. He belongs back in the early thousands. He's the perfect gatekeeper at heavyweight. Actually, he's not. Because actually, you know what? No, I take that back. He is. Because you know what? If you have a young heavyweight striker, you can showcase him against Rozenstruik. They'll be able to put on a show against Rozenstruik and put him out, right? If you have a young, like the Almeida fight, a young guy who can get you to the ground and tap you out, that's perfect for Rozenstruik with his sorry ass on the ground. Ultimately what it comes down to for me is I just like the value on Tai.
That's great value.
I don't trust him, but I like the value on him. I like the fact that there's energy in that arena. It's been a long time. It's been what? It's been over 2 years since the last shoey we saw, man. That was Derek Lewis. Like,
oh man.
Yeah, man. Like,
good highlight.
Oh man. You got a bonus for that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, and followed that up though. He followed that up with the Gon fight. That was a tough fight to watch because I'm not a Gon fan myself, and I wasn't sold on him at the time. And then he just totally dismantled. Tai showed a lot of heart in that fight, but
he did also showed a knockdown. Yeah, that was crazy.
Man. I thought he was going to pull that one off. That was crazy. That fight was nuts, man. But that also started his slide too. I want to believe he's being serious. I want to believe he's not just going to be another, like how you say with the Asian fighters, man, y'all need to work on your head movement. Look, man, some of my poly brothers,
guys,
please follow Max's lead.
Please.
Don't resort back to Baby J.
Guys.
Don't just show up based off of what you got, man. Don't just show up and expect that to be enough to get you there. Like,
Mark Hunt has laid the foundation for all these fighters to come in,
and just throw bombs,
guys.
Bro, like,
can we get a Russian over there and Samoa and just or Hawaii and
wherever,
let's wrestle, guys.
Let's teach some wrestling. Let's teach some cardio, and let's just teach a game plan and like to go out and just a regimen. Because that's what worries me the most about Tai is seeing him booty shaking around with Poeton and stuff. And it's like, bro, train with him. Don't just do TikToks and make jokes and go to dinners and have him out here in a EA like dancing around. You know what I mean? Like, get to work, bro. If he gets to work, I think he breaks the losing streak.
I think so too.
I think this fight has a ton of potential to me. Potential to either be like steal the show and then just throw hands for 3 rounds, or it has the potential to be as bad as the fight before it, which is the or the fight that's the prelim headliner between Walker and I can't even remember Junior Tafa. So all that I got over here at Action. I got actionnetwork.com. They have all the odds up. They got Ty at plus 185, man. That's tough to pass up.
Hey, guys.
Like, if nothing else, I'll
sprinkle a little.
I'll do what Uncle Earl said. And that's enough for me. I don't think that this style matchup should have Rozenstruik as a 2-1 favorite.
Yeah,
that's interesting to me. I know that it means some, but I don't trust that. And again, just from strictly odds, like Ty, man, Ty.
Yeah. So Jarzinho is going to win off accuracy of his punches, and just how damaged can he damage the leg of Tuivasa. Jarzinho struggles with power punchers and wrestlers. Which Tuivasa we know
he ain't wrestling.
But does Tuivasa have the strength to put out Jarzinho in 15 minutes? So
if I'm Jarzinho's camp, I'm just putting on the Gon tape all day, and I'm like, this is what we're gonna follow right here. Like, we're gonna kill. If memory serves correct, he attacked that leg like something crazy. Or was it the body shots with that fight? I don't remember right on that one, but I'm putting on the Gonta. I'm just saying, hey, let's follow this. Let's chop him down. It's just a matter of if he can do it.
So I have Jarzinho Rozenstruik written down in my picks right now, and I think it's just more of the safer pick for me. But man, I just want to. So maybe I'll pick Rozenstruik, but I'll sprinkle some money on Tai Tuivasa because that value is too good.
Too good.
So I'll go Rozenstruik by decision because I know he's not finishing not a damn thing. So next fight, we have Mateusz Gamrot versus Dan Hooker. This is a very interesting fight, especially for Dan Hooker being an underdog. Plus 240 is what I see. Dan Hooker has a very high percentage in takedown defense, but I don't think that matters with someone who is just a chain wrestler like this crazy-ass gamer Gamrot. This man is insane. The pace is insane. I hate Mateusz Gamrot. I can't stand this man being so high in the rankings.
Damn.
I can't stand this guy.
He's an old school UFC fighter, man.
This is Mace's man. This is Drew's
I like him, dude. I like him. Old school, man.
And I think what made me not like him, the skill, I praise the skills, okay? But it's when he got the decision nod over my guy Amron Sharukian.
Oh, yeah.
I was punching air. I was so pissed. I was like, Sharukian won that. So that's what kind of started me not liking Gamrot. So Dan Hooker, he's a dog. He can make things interesting, especially with him kind of having these long limbs. I think he could be interesting on the ground, maybe, or that could work in his disadvantage in Gamrot locking up submission. We've only seen the champ Islam Makhachev handle Dan Hooker and just ragdoll him and just lock up a submission real quick. I can't believe Dan Hooker was actually arguing with the ref, like, why'd you stop that fight? Like, brother, your arm was like
it was
far
hanging there, bro. Like, stop, chill out.
What are you talking about?
Chill.
Anyways, again, how I feel about the last fight with the safer pick. The safer pick is Gamrot, of course, and that is my pick. But I hope Dan Hooker pulls out some magic, please.
That being said, I wouldn't be mad if the Hangman wins, because I get it with Gamrot. I get why look, my man,
brother,
he gets a hold of you, he gets you down, and he just lays on you.
And the way he celebrated against Paziv being injured, I'm like, get this man out of my TV right now. This man was running around the octagon with his hands up. Like, how dare you?
Yeah, I get it. Like I said, I totally understand it. This
Man,
55 has to be hoping for a Dan Hooker win.
I know people are just
Because, okay, as we've talked about before, we know how we both feel about the Sarukian and Islam, the first fight. Insane fight, great fight. Gives me reason to think Sarukian can actually beat him or have an actual legit shot. Gamrot beats Sarukian, even as
great fight.
Yes,
Great fight. Great fight.
But does 55 want to see Islam versus Sarukian, then follow that up again with a rematch of either one? Especially if it's Gamrot and Islam, like
Dana will be punching air right now.
That's what I mean. Like, does he or does that, if Gamrot wins, does that entice Islam even more to, if he wins, if he beats Sarukian, and be like, yeah, I'm out of peace out 170. Like, let's go talk about it, Bilal. Let's go roll around for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
As much as I think Gamrot is gonna win, I also think that like it might be low-key one of the worst things for the division potentially, which is crazy to say about a dude who's lost 2 fights in his whole career, but he also is a goof and has a very, I could see a very unappealing style. And yeah, he celebrates like he did some after guys get hurt. But I'm with you. I think he wins this fight. I don't think it's exciting. I think if there's any excitement in this fight, it's all because Dan Hooker is doing something.
Either Dan Hooker gets up,
he gets up off the ground, he throws a crazy strike or something like. But the excitement ain't coming from Gamrot. We know that for a fact.
And you know, Gamrot has been RDA had some good shots on Gamrot. Turner.
I mean, that was a split decision. The Turner fight.
Yeah, that was a really close fight.
And that's the thing. Like Gamrot, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of his fights, even though he's winning, are debatable. They're not. He's not shutting guys out. He's not blowing guys out. He's not dominating guys. He's squeaking by some of these upper echelon 55ers.
Benil Dariush is the only guy to make Gamrot look like, oh my gosh, bro, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is insane.
Freaking
Benny, man. But the pick is going to be Gamrot. Again, I'm playing it safe, guys. I know I usually go dog hunting, but you know, I'm kind of playing it cool, guys. I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm not taking any chances with my picks. So if you guys want to, you know, a dog hunter, go somewhere else, I guess. But
I guess if you want to throw more, value on something like that, I would just like maybe link together Gamrot and the over.
Exactly.
Try to see what value you can squeeze out of that. If there's a better number as opposed to Gamrot at, you know, like
put it on
325, like
put that in the over parlay, guys.
Throw a parlay over in Gamrot.
Over.
Then you're at like plus 100 or maybe minus 110, and you're feeling a lot better about whatever unit you put down on that bet.
Because I think, a lot of these main card fights are overs. So I'm gonna build up my over parlay, and because I almost hit it on Saturday with UFC Vegas 95, so almost got $800. What a shame! I was one fight. It just pissed me off. But yeah, give me Gamrot. Dan, please, for all of us. Let's move into the co-main event. I love this fight so much. The flyweight division is on fire. Kara France is back going against Steve Erceg. Astro Boy, my guy. I like both of these fighters a lot. But from from the performance that I've seen from Steve Erceg put up against Pantoja in his last fight, actually had Steve Erceg winning that fight. What a great! I think that's probably my favorite flyweight title fight. Was that fight?
Really?
That beat Figgy Moreno #1 for me. But great scrambles, just on the stand up, it kind of had everything for me. It was a very, very slept on fight. I think it doesn't get talked about enough, Erceg and Pantoja. But I think that fight kind of just made me realize just how good Pantoja is. Like, I know Pantoja's good, but that man is a freaking dog, man. Underrated champ,
he'll always
man.
have a special place.
Underrated champ, man.
Always. Always. I'll never forget the night at Chingy when he won after Dricus knocked out.
Oh,
with Bobby Knuckles, and there's another fight on that card too. What a night! Time to be alive. Pantoja, good on you.
This fight is going to be very, very entertaining on the feet. Cara France has great power. I would like to see more output from Cara France because he does really play the very methodical game. I really like to see him kind of step up the output a little bit, put combinations together. But Steve Erceg is so tough, and I haven't seen his chin give out on him yet. I mean, he has been touched quite a few times in his UFC run so far. But Steve Erceg's chin is still durable. I mean, what I've seen in that Pantoja fight, again, the durability of that chin is crazy. So I'm going to take Steve Erceg because I think Erceg is a bit just more – I don't know what the word is, but I like Steve kind of bit everywhere in this fight, stand up and on the ground. If I know Cara France kind of has a great defense on the ground as well, but I don't know, man. Steve Erceg has really impressed me in his UFC run so far and his UFC career. I like what I see, man. So I think Steve Erceg wins this fight, and I think the UFC makes Steve Erceg. They make Steve Erceg fight Albazi, which That's hate.
What I was gonna say. 25, man. 25 is getting ready to be fun. Like it is fun already, but like no matter who wins this one, which I'm reluctantly, I'm with you. I don't think it's gonna happen for Kai Kara. I think that Moreno loss. For the belt, I think that was it. That was, I mean, Albazi, that was another one. Like that was a tough one. Split decision. That was one that a lot of people thought Albazi lost to Kai Kara. Then the the concussion. And again, Kai is he's just a tiny dude, man.
He is with long arms. Like the long arms are saving him, but a 5'8" against 5'4", like I think Steve's just going to kind of style on him, especially from the outside. I think Steve is just too precise, man. He's too clean.
Well, and especially with the way that, like you were saying, with Kai, with the kind of feeling out process. And the let me see what you're gonna do and let me kind of be patient and see where my openings are. Like, no, we don't got time for that in this fight. We don't have time for that after a year and a month off or 2 months off.
Yeah. Again, I need to see Kai kind of come out wanting some blood. Like he needs to come out, put the foot to the gas pedal, and just let's go, man. But I can't put my faith behind that, especially coming off a layoff. And
long layoff, yeah.
And I feel like Dan Hooker maybe coming off a layoff too, maybe, or something. I don't know, but I feel like all these city kickboxing people are kind of coming off some not normal, time off. So they're finding
time between fights is
they're taking.
I mean, you're looking at another 13 months. Like Dan Hooker's been out for 13 months,
and then Israel taking his time off too. So they're all taking this time off, which I think everyone needs. But their opponents are just tough. This pay-per-view, this card. So I think it's going to be a quiet night in Perth, and I think Steve Erceg gets a win here. Again, I just like Steve. I like Steve wherever this fight goes. So I think Steve Erceg fights Albazi, and I think Kai Kara France gets that fraud Manel Cop.
They're finally gonna fight.
Finally,
when no one gives a shit anymore. excuse my language, y'all, but no one gives a shit anymore.
They had that built up perfectly.
Bro, that was supposed to be what Makayev and Cop was going to be. That was the OG version of that.
They had that built up perfectly.
Oh, I'm still pissed that fight hasn't happened. And even more because I don't care. Who cares?
Exactly. The timing just missed each other and it just all blew up.
And like, okay, so Albazi. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna have to be Albazi and Erceg or whoever, right? Because you got the Brandons are fighting each other.
Royval.
Yeah.
And Moreno.
Yeah. And Moreno, which that's gonna be fun.
And I think if Royval wins, he fights Pantoja.
Yeah.
I think it's time for
You don't think they make him you think Erceg's 2 fights away still? Because you could argue he should be champ right now.
Shit, he's champ to me. Astro Boy, my guy. I don't know. I could see it.
I honestly, I low key, I think he could walk through Kai on Saturday.
I think so too.
I think he'd make it look kind of easy.
I think this is gonna be sad for Carl France fans, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be sad
because I am one, but I think he might get walked. And you couple that, if it happens, obviously, if you couple that with what he just did against Pantoja, like, oh, don't make him wait, man. And Pantoja, he doesn't.
I don't think he has anything.
He doesn't have anything lined up next.
So you say that about Carl France, about him fighting Moreno and that him kind of hitting that peak, maybe.
Yep.
I think Steve Erceg finally got a shot at the belt, and he thought he had it. And I think a lot of people thought he had it. And I think he really wants that feeling back. And I think Steve Erceg is just in an era of, ain't nobody gonna touch me right now. I'm getting back to the title shot. Give me that belt. Give me that shot again. And I think Steve is just he's gonna be in a good mood, and he's gonna put on a great performance.
I like it.
Yeah. Are we ready, bro? Main event. My gosh, guys. I've been going back and forth about this fight. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Ooh.
Drew knows how I feel about Israel Adesanya. But main event, we have Dricus Du Plessis defending his belt versus Israel Adesanya. Style bender, man. So Israel Adesanya taking that time off, like we said, it's been 11, 10 months since he's last fought, since he got exposed.
It's been 11 months
since the heartbreak of a lifetime for me, since I saw Sean Strickland lift up a belt.
I didn't think one was going to watch UFC anymore after that fight. I've never seen him look so bummed out before. He was sitting on the couch just looking like.
Me and my nephew were just,
we
were distraught, bro. We all of us were that whole.
I was shocked.
Our whole room, our whole party watch was just kind of just, what is happening right now.
Oh, that was, yeah.
Woo. But Israel still, I think this time off is going to mean a lot for him. He's been in title fights. This is going to be his 12th title fight in a row. So for, getting ready for camps and fights and title fights, it takes a lot out of you. It's hard being a champion in the UFC or anywhere. So this man's getting some well rest for his body. And I think we see a really good Israel Adesanya. I don't know about the best version of Israel, but I think we see a great version of him. But what's standing across from Israel, the champ, Dricus this man is an animal. What I saw Dricus do to Bobby Whitaker was unbelievable. I don't know Israel knocked out Whitaker, yes, but Du Plessis just made Robert look like he shouldn't even be ranked.
He walked through.
I was shocked, man. Dricus is just powerful, a powerful striker. He does walk forward and throw crazy. He has a very kind of unorthodox the way he kind of walks through his opponents and just throws crazy, but it looks sloppy, but it works. It's very effective. And usually I would lean Adesanya with a fighter like this because Adesanya has seen fighters like this before. And with the sniper striking style of Israel, I feel like this is kind of a spot for him to kind of pick apart Dricus as he kind of walks through and walks forward in this fight. But what makes me lean the champ, Mace,
yes, sir.
I lean the champ in this fight because he does have this relentless wrestling about him. And I know Israel has a great defense, especially at middleweight. He does. We've only seen Jan Blachowicz take down Adesanya, which is a weight class above.
I was gonna say, that's a 205. Yeah.
But Dricus is just a relentless man with the takedowns, and he's very powerful. So I think Du Plessis really mixes in the wrestling with the striking. I was on Israel Adesanya when this fight was announced until about maybe a few hours ago. I'm going to go the champ here, especially at him being an underdog, which is insane to me.
Great value.
Again, another great value, betting spot here for the champ. Give me Dricus Du Plessis to win by decision. Again, the layoff for Israel could do great things for him, but I have to see it to believe it. If Adesanya is really going to get back the belt, yes, but also take that next step into defeating such a powerful champ and Du Plessis, man. I don't know. And I feel like Adesanya is kind of maybe not thinking about retirement, but I don't know. His body language
thinking towards the end.
His body language after the Strickland defeat and just his time off, I think I don't know. He's really loving this time off, and
he's watching fights and shit and streaming
the
and
YouTube
giving his
commentary.
And like we care what the hell he has to say.
I really think Israel is kind of thinking about that next chapter. And it's funny that Israel took up golfing, and Du Plessis made a comment about that because it's like, well, I'm glad you took up that next sport because that's your retirement sport, golfing. So I don't know, man. I have to see it to believe it for Israel Adesanya if he is really coming back to really make another run and another reign, I guess.
That's kind of crazy, though. Like, let's be real here. To talk about him making another run and another reign, my man's 35, y'all.
Exactly.
Just because he gets out there and acts like a jackass and watches anime and does all the stupid celebrations and shit, this is a 35-year-old grown-ass man. He's not 25 anymore. He's not some young prodigy coming up. Like, this is, and that's why, like, when you say you notice the kind of maybe the looking ahead to after fighting and already kind of putting those wheels in motion, you say the YouTube's popping, everything. He's watching every freaking event. I see his stupid face on my feed, sitting there on his stupid sofa,
falling asleep,
complaining. Oh, Bilal did what he said. It. Yeah, he did. What are you talking? Of course he did.
You see, it drills out of
Leon did it. Look, man, we all know. Look, let's get into it, okay? Can I give my breakdown real?
Let's go, man.
I just need a second. I just need your ear because we went through this with Bilal as well and with Leon, right? Let me just let's remove ourselves, right? Let's just go over Leon. I mean Israel Adesanya's title reign, shall we? He beats Kelvin Gastelum for their interim belt. Great fight.
Almost lost.
Great fight.
He almost lost to Kelvin, man.
Right?
Yeah.
What's Kelvin doing? Missing weight. Tomato King. He wasn't even nice then. Let's be real. I'm sorry. I've never been a Kelvin Gastelum fan either. I've always thought he's mad overrated. He's a good fighter. He's scrappy as all hell, right? But I think he's mad overrated.
His weight class is not in the UFC. I mean, I'm sorry, man.
And that's the thing. What's his weight class?
It's one of those tweeners that just not find a home.
Like what? he's a 190er. I don't know what he is. I don't. But he wins he beats Gastelum for the belt, right? Beats Bobby Knuckles, knocks him out. Respect. I can't hate on that. One of the worst. Harkened back to Anderson Silva's title reign against Yoel Romero.
That's the fight that we watched for my bachelor, right? Hey, thanks.
Terrible.
Thanks, Izzy.
Terrible.
Ruined the bachelor party.
Then he beats Paulo Costa by knockout,
which
didn't age well at all.
Costa, I don't know.
Yeah. Didn't age well at all, right? Then he's feeling himself. Moves up to 05. We know what happened there. I lost money on that fight too. I had Blachowicz, or I had Izzy. I drank the Kool-Aid. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, me too.
That also has nothing to do with him being a fraud either, and my dislike for him. I didn't like him then. I just, it was a money thing. So he goes back down to 85. And who's waiting for him? Marvin Vettori.
Listen, guys, that Vettori fight, it was a lot closer in my second, because I was at a wedding that day, so I was like peeking at it, but watching it fully, I was like, okay, that was kind of close, guys. Don't scare me like that, Izzy. But Marvin Vettori is
come on, man. Come on, bro. I guess what people are calling better than Anderson Silva at middleweight. Stop.
Yeah, no.
So then he gets the rematch with Whitaker. Beats him by decision. Again,
that was close.
That was a close one, but respect for beating Whitaker. Look, there are only two people on Adesanya's resume with wins that I respect. It's Whitaker and who we're coming to. So then he beats Whitaker. Then who's he fight? Freaking the Cannoneer, the gorilla. Come on, bro.
Picked him apart,
bro.
Just
another fraud, by the way. Cannoneer looks like a video game character the way he's built and stuff. No, loses beats Cannoneer by decision, by the way, too. Didn't put him out, just picked him apart. Then he faces the man. We know what happens. Gets the rematch. We know what happens in the rematch. He gets his get back. That's it's funny to me too that's the highlight they've been showing this whole time, because it's the only one they can show from their two fights is him bouncing off the cage and bow, and then doing this stupid stuff. And what does he do after that?
Oh man, he got
exposed. Absolutely smoked by Strickland. And
bro, that was
like different. You said, he looked like he was broken mentally after the fight. A lot of videos have been coming out more, which I'm really loving all this access that the UFC is giving over the past year or so. But the videos of him after that fight in the locker room and with his mom and his coaching staff and all that, where he just all he keeps saying, I'm sorry, I let you down. I feel like I let you down. Yeah, but you did. This guy dog walked Sean Strickland, bro. Which leads me to my pick.
MMA math, guys.
What does everyone who talks about, watches MMA, what do we all say? Styles make fights, man. Look, man, DDP.
And again,
he's going to press him. If you're DDP, put on the Strickland tape. I really enjoyed as well during that Strickland fight with DDP. I enjoyed, much like Strickland, listening to DDP's coaches, listening to him get coached up. And then what I really respect about him is he's one of the few fighters that we see nowadays, it feels like, who actually goes out in that round and puts it into practice.
Adjustments.
He makes them on the fly. His team recognizes them great. He went out and did it against Strickland and won that fight. They're honest with him. I really, again, there's some coaches that I like a lot of what they do. And despite his coach tasing people on the feet, which might be genius, by the way, who knows? But I think that it's a style that is more threatening with the takedown than Strickland was. I think it's a style that is looking a lot more aggressively for the finish than Strickland ever was. Strickland knew what his way to win in that fight was. Let me control this thing for 5 rounds. Let me be in his face for 5 rounds and press him and hope I get the decision. I think DDP is looking for the finish. I think he's looking for a marathon fighter. I think he's going to be on his bike. I think he's going to be in his face the whole fight. I think he's going to be more aggressive than Strickland was. I think he's going to be looking for the kill more than Strickland ever was. I think that the only way to victory for the fraud is his counter-striking. If DDP gets a little too reckless, if he gets a little too aggressive and Izzy can read him the right way, Izzy can't catch him on the counter. That when he beat Pereira was kind of touching him up and then he kind of waited, counter-strike, boom. I feel like that's the only route to victory for him. I look forward to this week's Embedded. I look forward to the weigh-ins. I look forward to every chance that Israel Adesanya has this week to make himself look like a jackass. I think that the weight he's putting on is bizarre. He looks humongous for him. He's always been he's 6'4", 185, right? He's always been really lean, really lanky. He looks, and he's showing it off. He's like very outward about how he's bulking up, and
he knows what's coming. Better get those wrestling shoes
right,
on, my guy.
Exactly. But also, you've never fought that big either, except for 205. But that was a different weight. Like, is the striking going to be different? Is it going to be slower? Is it going to be heavier? Is it just going to be more pop? What's this Izzy going to look like? Super bulked up against DDP, who's like, man, I've been here like this, bro.
So that's the thing. This is why I didn't back Israel Adesanya in this fight. DDP is going to bring the fight to him, and he's going to have to make Israel Adesanya fight for real.
Who's ever made him do that other than Poetan? The Vittori fight, the Gastelum way back in the day.
Whitaker, maybe. Whitaker,
the second
he
fight
got caught. But I think DDP is way cleaner than a Whitaker, especially in that time. I think Whitaker was really just trying to get Israel out of there. But I just think DDP knows what he's up against, and I think he knows about just the surroundings and what this fight means. So again, with the coaches that Drew mentioned, I think they know that they have the game plan and they're going to execute it. Again, Israel Adesanya is only going to be a counter fighter. With him being heavier, I don't know what he's going to look like later in this fight. Because again, he has been breathing heavy. Yes, he's a very methodical striker. He doesn't put in a lot of power into those punches, but he still breathes heavy. So someone who's going to bring the fight to him, what does that cardio look like in rounds 4 and 5 for Izzy, with him being heavier as well? So I have to see it to believe it, and I keep on saying it because the way Israel Adesanya is talking, he's going to bring his head, drag it across South Africa. When have you ever showed us that, though? You talk it, but when was the last time you actually did it? Like, I need to see it, bro. And that's why I'm going with the champ here, because I think the champ just knows what he's up against. They have the game plan. And I like the skill set, man. I like the skill set of DDP. Again, it doesn't look pretty, but he's very effective with it. So again, Israel's my guy. Drew knows this. He's been one of my favorites since he entered the UFC. Him being a dancer and a crumper, like it kind of just like pulls on my heartstrings a little bit. So like it's tough, and I'm not trying to pick with my emotions anymore. And I'm trying to be more strategic with my picks. So I'm going with the champ here, and with him being an underdog is insane. What this guy just did to Sean Strickland.
What he's been doing is he hasn't lost. He hasn't lost in the UFC, y'all.
Whitaker, Strickland,
Brunson.
What are we?
Till. Like, what? Come on, man.
An underdog.
Like, and he's a dog to a guy who got dog walked his last fight, had a flash knockout the fight before that, and got smoked the fight before that.
I get it. I know who Israel Adesanya is, and he's probably one of the greatest middleweights. He is one of the greatest middleweights, but man, people are really sleeping on what DDP has done, man.
I think that, for one, it's obvious. Israel he's a star. Of course he is. I get it. There's so much star power there. And that makes total sense. But he's been super emotional even before. Like, this has gone back how long now between him and DDP and the African champions and all that, and that comment. Izzy has been wanting this fight so bad. I don't know if he comes out and tries to blitz right away. I don't know if he stuns Dricus and tries to rush in and get a quick finish because the emotion takes over. And like I said, that's why I'm looking forward to this week, because Israel's he's going to be saying dumb stuff. He's going to be acting very emotional. He's going to be trying. Have you noticed DDP's chill as hell in this whole thing, man?
Very, very comfortable.
He's so cool. He is so unbothered. And I'll bet you anything he wants this more than Israel does, man. Because no one believes in him. Everyone, he's a dog, bro. Unbeaten in the UFC, and he's a dog to the former champ. He knows what this fight is for his career, for him, for his bank account, for his future, for everything. I just,
and again, like any other champion, they have taste that lifestyle. They've lived it. Adesanya has reached those peaks. DDP is hungry, man. He loves he loves the belt. He loves having that belt with him. He's still in this aura of just bringing it home to South Africa.
Yeah, rugby stadiums
just
welcoming him with the belt. Like,
he's ready for this moment. I won't be surprised if DDP gets caught. I won't. But again, I have to see it to believe it for Adesanya this time. So,
can I say something too about that? The only, like, bro, Adesanya, no matter what, if he gets knocked out in the first round, he'll still be a fraud to me. But he'll still be the second greatest middleweight ever. He was never going to pass Anderson Silva to me. He couldn't do it. I don't care what records he breaks. I don't care whatever. It was a different time. There's no Izzy without Silva. So for me, it's like how Mike is better than LeBron, even though LeBron might be. Nah, bro, because Mike was there and it was different. And I know a lot of the people that might listen, or a lot of these new MMA heads who don't know nothing about Anderson Silva and the aura and the way that his fight cards felt. And when that DMX came on, and he was walking, ain't no sunshine. Like, bro, like, he was crazy. So Izzy was never going to top that. And there's no shame in that. But they made a great point earlier. I think it was Florian made it. And I never thought about it until I started thinking back and then watching some of his highlights. DDP, even the build kind of. Rich Franklin. That kind of awkward striking style can take you down, is kind of a threat on the ground, but that's not his thing. Throws the unorthodox from weird angles, built like a freaking a G.I. Joe. Like,
that's really crazy.
Come on, man.
The ace.
Rich Franklin 2.0.
The ace, guys.
This Franklin isn't his Anderson Silva. All right? It's not. I'm sorry, it's not. I feel like DDP is I feel like you said, to your point, the love of the belt. I feel like he's going to be like how Belial is at 70. Like that champ that everyone's like, who's this guy? But like, bro, ain't nobody going to go out there and love it more and fight harder than him and take on whoever you want to put in front of him. So I got DDP. I think he's gonna. I think it's either a decision or a late, like 5th round finish on some referee stoppage. Like, he ain't gonna put him out, but it's just gonna be punches and bunches. And all right, that's enough. I think that's what we're gonna be looking at. And again, for me, the only route to victory for Izzy is catching him on a counter. That's it. And no disrespect, you'll always be the number 2. There's no shame in that. You'll always be the second greatest middleweight ever. But Silva lost too. Silva lost to Weidman. it all ended for him too. Same with Izzy, man. Get out the game. Go do your YouTube. Go watch your fights. Keep dropping goofy content on Twitter. Whatever, bro. Congrats.
We could see Izzy lose here and, call out some big names, big fights. Hopefully he doesn't call for a 205 fight for Alex Pereira. I don't know.
That whole narrative of him winning and then fighting Strickland again and then fighting Alex, like, that's who I heard say that. Yo, if I ever see Brendan Schaub out in these streets, his old CTE brain days, he came up with that earlier. He said Izzy's going to come out here and knock out DDP. Then he's going to go knock out Strickland. And then he's going to go beat Alex at 205, become double champ, and retire as the greatest middleweight ever.
You're not finishing Strickland, bro. Give me that rematch. I'm taking Sean Strickland in that fight because that Philly shell is for real. Only DDP has made, and Alex Pereira has made Sean Strickland look like they break that shell, but he just doesn't have that power, man. He doesn't have the velocity. He doesn't have that sting, bro. It's a very pretty striker. We like it. It's cute. It's nice. It's nice to look at, but we got animals coming for you, bro. We got some dogs.
And again, like there's no shame either in losing at 35 years old, bro. Like trust me, man, there's no shame in it at all. Like this is DDP,
guys,
man.
I hope you guys have enjoyed the breakdown. UFC 305 going down this Saturday. To recap the picks for this weekend, start from the bottom, work our way to the top. We have Stewart Nicoll, we have Kenan, we have Tom Nolan, we have Jack Jenkins, I have Casey O'Neill, dog number 1, Josh Culibao, Junior Tafa, dog number 2, God help us. Pay-per-view, we have Carlos Prates, I have Jarzinho Rozenstruik, Mateusz Gamrot, Steve Erceg, and Dricus Du Plessis, underdog number 3, and still. Please stay tuned for Friday's episode. I will be going over my final picks, and I'll be giving my final bets for UFC 305.
Better not change that main event, my guy.
I'm not changing. The main event staying.
I know there's some slop on here that needs to be cleaned up. Needs to be a little bit more homework on
some deeper reviews in some of these fights. But
I wanted to ask you too real quick before we go. Why do you think there's so much hate on this card, man?
Is there?
Last couple of days, like this weekend, and going after this weekend's card, a lot of MMA Twitter have been killing the UFC for one, over flooding the market with the events every week, but they're saying that this pay-per-view is weak. And I don't get. I like the main card. I think
the main card is great.
The main card is great. Like I said, the prelims seem a little skimpy, but maybe it's because. And again, I don't think people are watching MMA the way you're watching MMA, where they don't know that there's a lot of young talent that's going to be showcased. I think for some reason people are weird with international cards too. Like if it's not in Vegas or New York or.
Guys, I don't know why
it's a good card, man.
Even yes, I think the early prelims it's ugly.
Yeah. From
the prelims to the pay-per-view, the matchups, again, take out that sloppy feature prelim.
Air quotes feature prelim.
But we have 1, 2, 3. We have 8 solid fights on this card. I think are great fights. From the Jack Jenkins, the O'Neill fight, Culibao fight, and then the whole pay-per-view. I think the UFC did a great job with the matchups of the pay-per-view card. And I think, dude, guys.
Look at this. I got one. In response to the card. Seriously, one of the most anticipated main events in a while, and that's the Cohen main card.
Again, you probably became a fan during.
They're
COVID.
Suggesting Izzy asked for everyone on the card to be on the card because it's all the city kickboxing guys. Guys,
they showcase.
It's the same that was at UFC 304 with all the UK fighters.
What are we talking about?
The same as when they go to Brazil or Mexico.
They showcase every
where they're
in the
at.
region.
Like,
what do we want?
We're not gonna do UFC Perth and have a bunch of dudes flying from the States.
Listen, I have to voice this real quick. I've been watching MMA since 2008, 2009. I've missed very few UFC cards since that time. And to have a card each week may seem pretty annoying or whatever, you guys don't like it. But for me, I enjoy the sport. I love the sport. And during that time of COVID, when we had that big pay-per-view and then the world shut down and we didn't get a live event for a few months, I think about that time to where we didn't have anything for a few months and we were all kind of just needing a card and needing some fights. I think about that time, and that what kind of makes me a grateful fan for kind of anything. So I think we should all need to be grateful for the fact that we have fights won, but we get to sit back and watch these humans fight each other and entertain us. Like,
how do we get to the Izzies?
Exactly.
And the Leon Edwards and the Uso, like, how do we get to the Aspinalls? They all have to start somewhere. They're all undercard fighters. Like, there could be future champs and superstars on this card in the prelims in the undercard, but nobody, like, come on, man, that's weak. So, and also, like you said, we've been watching it for forever, bro. You remember when we used to have to wait like 3 months in between cards?
Exactly, guys.
It's like on some WWF type shit. Like, we had to wait. The time between UFC 304 and 305 would have been like 2.5 or 3 months. Like, come on, man.
But I mean, people say what you want to say about the MMA and UFC in the state where it is right now, but I think these athletes are incredible. I think it's at its peak right now with interesting prospects, stuff like that. Just be grateful, guys. I mean, stop having hate in your heart. Like, I get it. I've clowned some cards, but I still watch and I still watch every single fight. So,
and guarantee they'd be the main ones crying if there wasn't something on every week.
Like
they'd be the main ones. Well, what's wrong with Dana? Why he ain't put on no card this week? You can't win.
Be the guys, man. I wish there was a card today.
Why the Apex got to be closed till 2025 for innovation? Like, so you hated Apex.
As the UFC fans, we all need to be grateful, guys.
Please
stop crying.
Y'all all know y'all gonna be watching all them fights on Saturday, man. Stop fronting.
Jeez. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of the views and the likes. Please get in the comment section and let us know your picks and what you think of the fight card. But yeah, let's be more interactive in the comment section. But I appreciate all the views that my MMA breakdowns have gotten. But look forward to Friday. I will be dropping the final picks for Friday and final bets for Friday. There's a lot of good overs to go over and for that over parlay to be a big plus number. So let's get into it, guys. Thank you guys again. I'll see you guys on the next one.